Good afternoon. Dr. Barry Gritz here with Houston's dancing psychiatrist, and we're going to be talking about the upcoming YouTube channel and posts that we're going to be doing. How this is going to go is going to depend on what y'all want. My idea of this talk and of this show is really going to be about being an edutainer. And by edutaining, I mean educating and entertaining. I think you can do both. I try to do that in my practice here when I'm working here during the week. And I also try to do that in my Zumba and Aqua Zumba classes when I'm teaching at multiple gyms around town and when I teach internationally Zumba and Aqua Zumba. I really try to be aware it's something that we can learn a lot, but we can have fun doing it. And that's gonna be the whole concept of this show. Edutaining, talking about selected topics. Really what I'm looking for this to be a total health and mental and physical wellness show. And where this is going to go, once again, is going to be dependent upon what y'all want and how y'all guide this. I do have a email that y'all can send stuff to, questions that are potential talks of topics, and that would be at Houston's Dancing Psychiatrist at gmail.com. Houston's Dancing Psychiatrist at gmail.com. But really the whole goal of this is to be exploring other aspects of physical and mental wellness. And I really want to be talking about both my expertise in psychiatry and sharing that with you. I've been practicing now for 34 years in Houston, done quite a bit of local TV and radio in regards to that, and really want to take it to the next level where I'm reaching out to a lot of people to try to help with concerns and questions that people have regarding mental and physical wellness and helping us just be the best we can be in all aspects of life. And we're talking here physically, emotionally, spiritually, the whole compass, because that's what we're really going to be talking about today. And we're going to be talking, of course, about the nature and diagnosis of psychiatric illnesses, but my hope is to go a lot from that, meaning I really want to be talking about diet. I want to be talking about exercise. My goal is to eventually bring on other experts in other fields that encompass physical and mental wellness to be talking about that. I'm going to start off the show, depending upon what y'all give me, with Q&A, meaning I may read one or two or three questions from people that y'all send me regarding topics or questions that you have in mental and physical wellness. Want to be very clear that the whole concept of this is that this is meant to be an addition to everything you do in your life, meaning this is never a substitute for you talking with your clinician or your doctor about the diagnosis and treatment. This is meant to be additional things. Say, for example, maybe I give you some information that you can then take back to your clinician and talk with your clinician about other things to explore. Maybe this is something else that you can talk with your clinician or that you can implement to better improve your sleep, your exercise, your inflammatory status. That's what the whole concept of the show really is going to be about. And I'm really going to do this by keeping these shows 30 minutes or less. And really the whole concept of today is just an introduction, who I am. Once again, Barry F. Gritz, MD, psychiatrist in Houston for 34 years. I've had the joy of practicing psychiatry for 34 years. And if God allows me to, I'll be doing it another 34. But I really want to reach out to more people. And that's the whole concept of what I'm doing here. And really what I hope to give y'all through this. If you think there's things that we can do differently that you want to see answered, certainly I will always try to address it. But really, once again, I know I'm being redundant. This is never meant to replace your clinician or your treatment. This is meant to be an addition to that. Next week, when I do a talk, we're going to be doing a talk about the diagnosis and treatment of adult depression. We're going to then go on to talk about childhood depression. And we'll do selected topics going through diagnosis and treatment, really looking at general treatments. I also want to let you know that as an educator and as a lecturer for multiple companies, I'm going to really do my best to make sure that these talks stand clear and stay clear of any bias in that regard. when really what I will be talking about diagnosis and treatment, but I'll really be talking about global aspects of treatment, not trying to clue in on one specific medication. Because as a clinician, we need multiple tools in our tool belt, meaning not one treatment works for every patient. So to talk about one treatment being the exclusive treatment for patients for psychiatric conditions really isn't valid. We need multiple tools in our tool belt. One of my favorite professors growing up in my residency when I was in my 20s, he talked about if all you have is a hammer, everything looks like a nail. If all you have is a hammer, everything looks like a nail. But if you have a hammer, saw, and a chisel, you can do a lot. And that's really what we're going to be talking about as far as the accurate diagnosis and treatment and approach to your mental and physical wellness. You need to approach it from multiple ways. We need multiple different medicines because one medicine doesn't work for every patient. We also need multiple aspects of treatment, and that includes exercise, diet, adequate sleep, good nutrition. Also, the whole concept of who you put yourself in an environment with. There is a concept: if you put yourself in a garden of weeds, you're going to become a weed. But if you put yourself in a nourishing environment, you're likely to be nourished. One very famous pastor down the block, his church is right down the block. He makes a reference that I really like, and he talks about the fact that redwood trees. The reason that redwood trees are able to survive for so long is that their roots interconnect, and by supporting and nourishing each other, they support each other. And that's how they're able to be so grand and successful in their life. And that's really what we need to do, is put ourselves in connection with people who nourish our roots, who help us be the best we can be, and really bring about the nourishment of our roots, and then we nourish their roots too. That's the whole concept of what we're talking about. The same pastor, he's a very, very wise man, also gives the analogy of eagles and crows. And he was talking about the fact that eagles and crows try to mess with eagles when they fly. Now, an eagle is pretty strong. An eagle can take a crow, but what does the eagle choose to do rather than messing with the crow? Soar higher. And that's the whole concept of what we're going to be trying to talk about too, is soaring higher, being the best we can be physically, emotionally, being the kindest person we can be, being the most loving person we can be. That doesn't mean always rolling over and letting people do whatever they want to do, but really choosing which battles to fight. And that's really what we're going to be talking about too. Not every battle is worth fighting. And sometimes the actual battle is to not fight the battle. So we're going to be talking about all that, but we're going to be taking a step-by-step approach. Once again, if you have questions, concerns, that things that you want to talk about, questions that you want maybe to bring up when I start the show next time, we can start with a question or two that you guys have. Once again, that's Houston's Dancing Psychiatrist at .com. Houston's Dancing Psychiatrist at gmail.com. Houston's Dancing Psychiatrist at gmail.com. That is the site to send in your questions, ideas that you have in regards to the above, and really, really excited to be bringing this to you and to take a stepwise approach about bringing knowledge and information to the forefront that hopefully can help people not only in Houston but elsewhere. Also wanted to point out for anybody who's listening who might be one of my current patients, this website and that email is not to be used for questions in regard to your current medication and treatment. You guys know how to reach me. You guys have my office number. You guys have my my medical email at the office, and you also guys have my cell. So don't need to be doing that. I will not be checking that email every day. So please, just reaching out to any of my patients who may be seeing this. This is still not the way to communicate with me. The way to communicate with me is always the way that you have. I like to make myself available to you. Know, you guys know that. That's why you, as my patients, have my cell phone. You'll continue to have it, but please, just want to make sure we emphasize that. So once again, next week, we're going to be talking about the treatment of adult depression, diagnosis and treatment, and we'll go topic to topic. We're going to go through a lot of topics. We're going to go through looking at your microbiome. We're going to be looking at exercise. At some point, I do even hope to maybe take y'all out via this show and actually look at ordering out in an anti-inflammatory fashion at a restaurant sometime. These are all things that I have in the game plan, but we'll see where this goes. You guys are going to determine where this goes. I'm prepared to be doing this for a while, and we'll see what you guys want, okay? Y'all have a great rest of your weekend, and this is Dr. Barry Gritz at Houston's Dancing Psychiatrist at gmail.com. Houston's Dancing Psychiatrist. Take care. Bye, y'all.